Welcome back to part two of solving percent problems, grade 8. We are actually looking at the second question here, right? So before part one ended, it basically said this is a multi-step problem. We were given the whole number. We're trying to figure out what the whole number was when we're only given a percentage of it. So in this case, they said 70% of this number we're trying to figure out is equal to 63. Well, what I said for the break was we're going to actually change these two numbers into a fraction. Basically, whatever the percentage sign number is, that goes on the bottom as our denominator, and the 63 here is left, so we put that as our numerator. So we're going to divide this 63 by 70. So 63 divided by 70 will give us 0.9. Now I'm going to show you something. When you divide these numbers like this, 63 by 70, that actually, whatever your answer is, that works out to be 1% of the whole number we're trying to figure out. So in this case, 0.9, I'm going to write down here, 0.9 is equal to 1%. Okay, so this is now easy. If I know what 1% of a number is, to get to 100% of the number, all I do is I multiply the 1% by 100. So in this case, I'm going to multiply 0.9 by 100, and that should give me 100% of my number, and 100% of my number would be the whole original number. In this case, I don't even need to use my calculator because I know when I multiply something by 100, I take the decimal and I move it however many zeros there are. In this case, there's 2 zeros and 100, so I move it over once, twice, and put my decimal there, and it ends up as 90. So my original number was 90. 70% of 90 is actually equal to 63. Well, let's test that out. 70% of 90 is 63. So let's do that really quick here. Let's say you wanted to tip. This is unheard of, but it was like the best meal you ever had in your life, and the best service and the best atmosphere, and everything was awesome. You had a great time. So you're like, I'm going to tip, instead of 20%, I'm going to tip 70% of my bill, which in this case was $90. So what is 70% of 90? Well, I know that 70% down here would be 7 out of 100, right? And I know that I can reduce that. Boom, boom, take the zeros down, and so that's 7 out of 10. And I need to write that as a decimal, so 7 out of 10 is 0.7. And now I multiply that by 90. Well, grab my calculator. Erase that. 0.7 times 90 is equal to, boom, 63. So you would tip on a $90 bill, you would tip $63. Wow, that is a great tip. Your server would be very happy. Yeah, there you go. There's a second scenario that we would use this in. Let's give you one more question here. Let's say, I want to know what is 175%. 175% of a number is 105. So what is the original number? I'll give you guys a chance to think about that and pause the video for a second and see if you can figure that out. Okay, grade 8, so let's look at this problem. So in the previous example, remember what I said was we have to change it into a fraction. We've got to figure out what 1% of the number is. So in this case, we take our percentage sign, 175, and that becomes our denominator. And the number on top is the numerator is what's left. So what are the two numbers? 105. So if I divide these two numbers, that should give me 1% of the number I'm looking for. So 105 divided by 175 is equal to 0.6. So that's actually equal to 1% of the whole number we're looking for. So that's easy enough. Once I know 1%, once I can figure out 1% of the number, I just multiply that number by 100 and that'll give me 100% of the number and the whole number. So 0.6 multiplied by 100. I take the decimal, jump it 2 spots. There's my new decimal point. Add a 0 there in that empty space because there's nothing there. And my new number is 60. So 175% of a number is 105. Think about it. If you took your original number 60 and you multiplied it by 175, it's of course going to be bigger than the original number. It's almost twice as big, but not, right? So twice as big would be 120. In this case, it's only 105, so it's 3/4 bigger. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Okay, so as promised, there's going to be 3 problems I wanted you to look at. Here is the third part. In this case, we're given part of a whole number and the whole number, and you got to figure out what percentage that is. So basically, a real life situation where you'd encounter that would be the cost of milk. We sell milk at Argyle, right? Well, this is just a hypothetical. I use these numbers just to help out with the problem today. But let's suppose the cost of milk at Argyle has increased from 95 cents to $1.25. That's a big increase. You're asked to figure out what is the percent increase in price. How much has it actually gone up in price? Okay. I left the third example for the toughest one. There's a lot of steps in this, so just follow along with me here and we'll hopefully figure it out. So the first thing I have to do is I need to figure out what was the increase in the price. So the way I do that is I can take $1.25. In this case, I'm just going to change it all to pennies. So I'm going to take 125 pennies, just because it's easier to subtract for me. And I'm going to subtract my original price, which was 95 pennies. So what is the increase there? I know that the cost of milk has gone up 30 pennies. Right, so it went up 30 cents. Now that I know the increase, well, what I got to do is I got to find the percent increase. So I write the increase as a fraction of the original price. So my number here, the change in cost, in this case, the change in cost was 30. Well, I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that as the cost increase on top. So 30. I'm going to divide that by my original price. In this case, the 95 comes down here. Right there. So what was a 30-cent increase, the percentage of that compared to the original cost? So what is 30 out of 95? That's what you're basically asked to figure out. And when I divide these, when I divide 30 divided by 95, that is equal to 0.3157, lots of numbers. Just get it to the first 2 decimals. In this case, it is equal to 0.32, which is the same as 32 out of 100, which is the same 32%. Your Edmodo challenge for tonight is quite simple. I'm not going to give you a problem to work on. I just want you to soak in all this knowledge I dropped on you there and comment on Edmodo that you watched the video and tell me what your favorite number between 0 and 100 is. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.